you so much everyone for joining us today, taking our time on a Saturday. Thank you so much. So, Bon après-midi, tout le monde. नहीं समझे? Let me give you another one. Salute. अभी भी नहीं समझे? Guys, इसीलिए तो मैंने कहा था that join our new course at Skills Rediscovery, dive into French. पर आप लोगों ने मेरी बात नहीं मानी. But why worry when Skills Rediscovery has your back? Guys, today we are here with a fun interaction about the benefits and importance of French language. And here we have with us a very special guest who's going to tell us with her experience, with her training, with her ideas as to why we should learn French and how it can benefit us in our future. So before we get to that, let me just quickly tell you about our platform, that is Skills Rediscovery. So everyone, Skills Rediscovery एक ऐसा platform है जो कि trainers और learners को साथ में लाता है. यहाँ पे our vision is if the trainers or the learners cannot come to the class can go to them. Isn't it amazing? So guys, इसी agenda के साथ we have made sure that courses from all the domains or skills from all the domains are available for you. You know, be it business, science, technology, communication, lifestyle, it's available for you. And you can turn your skill into a career. At the same time, these courses are available to you in various languages, be it Hindi, Urdu, English, Malayali, Marathi. So हम multilingualism approach follow करते हैं. And today we have with us one such trainer who is going to be talking about importance of language, of French. So हम जानते हैं कि आपको नई लैंग्वेजेस सीखने में कितना इंटरेस्ट है, बट आपको इसके बारे में और पता चले इसके लिए let me invite our amazing guest, Ms.Viraja Nerurkar.
Okay, we finally have Ms.Viraja Nerurkar ma'am with us. How are you, ma'am?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good too. So good to have you with us, you know, after 1 week of telling people कि ये webinar होगा. So, guys, to quickly tell you about her. So, Ms.Viraja Nerurkar एक French trainer है. She is a French enthusiast. She has done her bachelor in French language and also has a diploma of DELF B2. Well, I'm going to ask you about this diploma very quickly. So, she's been training students for a long time now. It's almost been 5 years. And she's not only been training youngsters, but has also been indulged with senior citizens and adults. Wow, amazing. I'm sure उनका ये जो French का craze है, French का interest है, ये हम लोग तक भी पहुँचेगा when she's going to tell us about the importance and benefit of French. So, ma'am, in your own words, tell us about your journey. Tell us about your love for French. How did it start, and why did you choose a career in French? So that हमारे viewers को भी पता चले कि ये language इतनी important क्यों है हमारे career के लिए. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so my journey of French started a long time back, precisely to be 10 years back when I was in school. I was in school and I casually taken up French as a second language subject, and so I started studying it, and eventually I was not very interested. I was not really keen on pursuing it, but as time passed, I started learning more and more language. I started grammar, working on the, it was not just academical. It went on to become learning the culture and various things related to the language. So I fell in love with the language, and that's it. That was the point when I decided that, okay, this is where I want to have a career in. So yeah, it went on like that.
Right. So, जब like you already had a love for French for a long time, like when you were young also. So, I think ऐसा कोई एक moment होगा ना जब आपको लगा होगा कि यार either you were watching the TV show or maybe you were talking to your friends or maybe you did some research. तो French के लिए love था ये तो पता चल गया. But that one moment where you thought that मुझे career इसी में बनाना है, मुझे अपनी skill को ही enhance करना है. So were you always like आपका pronunciation French में पहले से था या फिर कुछ तो ऐसा था एक point जब आपको लगा that this is the one thing that I want to do?
Not really. See, I was not initially very interested in language as such. I was planning on pursuing my careers in commerce, which is a completely different stream. So I was working on that. I was even interning with a firm as an accountant. But unfortunately, it didn't work out. Maybe fortunately, it didn't work out. And I was simultaneously pursuing a French course with Alliance process just as a hobby, just out of.
Okay.
And yeah, it at that moment I realized that okay, this is where I want to work more on and want to enhance my skills in this career rather than doing something monotonous and working typical 9 to 5 jobs, doing the same thing over and over. Why not explore more horizons and why not share my knowledge with other people? So yeah, that was the time I decided that okay, this is where I want to go ahead.
Perfect. So मतलब guys, इससे ये message तो जाता ही है that there is a skill inside of you which you can enhance और उससे आपका career, आपका passion build हो सकता है. And what's better than that? कहाँ वो एक accountant बनने जा रही थी, कहाँ just a normal hobby which turned into her own career. She actually worked on her skill for 5-7 years. So congratulations, ma'am, you're here with us finally. कैसा लग रहा है आपको एक करियर जो आपने चुना और अब उसके बारे में आप लोगों को बता रहे हैं, तो इट मस्ट बी एक फीलिंग अलग सी होगी ना, अनयूजुअल सी.
Yeah, it feels great, especially since 2 years. Jab se everyone's been home and it's been locked down, I think I have got an opportunity to explore more. क्योंकि अब ये online platforms जो है, this has started since last 2 years, मतलब ज़्यादा scope बढ़ गया है. Thanks to this online mode, I can reach the houses of the people where I couldn't reach before. So पहले होता था that I used to take students only from my locality or my area, nearby students or nearby schools, or probably it was in Mumbai. But online mode या online teaching जब से start हुआ है, I think I can reach globally. I have students from all over the world and I work in different time zones. So I think the exposure is more and it feels great. Yeah.
True that, true that. So now we have talked enough about your personal experience. I think let's move to the professional one. जिसके लिए हमारे viewers भी wait कर रहे हैं. So before we dive into French, no pun intended. So if we actually dive into French, I want to ask, apart from Hindi, English, जो all of us have been speaking for like last 20 years, everyone wants इस particular digital era में, when you're working with MNCs also, everyone wants a different language learn की जाए. So I want to know how important it is to learn French. Like there are other languages as well, German भी है and Spanish भी है, which is equally important. But French ही क्यों इतनी important है? I would like to know that from you.
Okay, I would say that French is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. और French is not only spoken in France. So बाकी बहुत सारे regions है और बहुत सारे countries है. There are a lot of countries where French is the official language. So if you go to Canada, Canada originally is the language officially accepted there is English, but it is becoming a francophone. It is becoming a French-speaking country. उनका जो province है Quebec, it is totally French-dominated province. If you go to certain African countries like Nigeria, Algeria, here also there are the official language accepted. It's not English, it's French. So there are a lot of francophones, that is French-speaking territories, जिधर French official language accept किया जाता है. So if you do get into MNCs or any of the corporate business world, where you have to converse with the clients, interact with them from all parts of this world or different French territories, French can come in very handy.
Right, perfect. So
I feel when you learn French, it is very much similar to English. So जो similarities हैं, बहुत सारी similarities हैं दो languages में. So it's comparatively easy since you know English. Learning French is really something you can manage very well.
Yeah, right, perfect. So, ma'am, since now you've explained us the importance of learning French, so I want to ask that you've been teaching for so long. So I want to know, how do you actually teach? What is your method of teaching? Like, do you start with vocab revision or like teaching them कि एक word का meaning क्या होता है? Or do you actually go into the basics? I mean, how do you actually start your training when you start with students?
Okay, so I don't follow the general structure that usually schools follow. I follow more like a structure where I count in all the skills when you learn a language. So there are 4 parts. The first part is listening, where I make the students listen to a lot of audios and videos. I take extracts from audios videos from actually French films or French radio, and I make them hear them so that they can actually learn the authentic way in a very authentic way.
Right.
Second skill is the reading comprehensions. So they are given a lot of comprehensions to work on. There are paragraphs and texts and dialogues from which they can read the dialogue. They have to read it out loud and then answer the questions. Then there's a lot of speaking and interaction that happens in class. For example, many a times we play a fun activity which is like um, I make the students get into roles. Okay, it's called a role play game, you know the role.
Yeah,
Where
perfect.
I give the situations to the students that, for example, you're sitting in a cafe and you want to place an order, and the other person is the waiter or the server. So, how will you place the order? What forms of sentences will you use? How to frame questions? So, they learn
Yeah,
in a very practical way, like a reality level,
absolutely.
fun level. So there are all these activities, interactions, and conversations that take place in a class, which makes it more fun learning and more amusing.
Okay, so initially तो जब वो start होती होगी वो learning, how do you think जब वो start होती है तो एक average एक average student को कितना time लगेगा French को at least इतना सीखने के लिए that he start conversing in French, like वो एक accent भी आ जाए, कितना time लग सकता है?
So I think it totally depends on the student and the number of hours and dedication he is ready to commit. Agar if he studies a lot and whatever homeworks or whatever assignments I give to him, if he does it on
Yeah,
time, I'm sure he can nail it in 2 months. The A1 level, the basic level,
2 months,
yeah,
right?
2.5 months is enough. But if the learner is very slow or he wants me to explain in detail or if he needs a requires special help, then I think it takes about 4 months, around 4 months to learn the basic level.
अच्छा, so I also came across courses जो कहते हैं कि we'll be making you learn French 7 days, 8 days, like 1 week का crash course भी किया जा सकता है. Do you think that's like उसमें कितना सीख सकता होगा इंसान, क्या क्या समझ सकता होगा?
Not really. Well, it's possible, but
Hmm.
if you say a 5 day course, तो उसमें क्या होगा? You will only learn how to greet someone in French, or
Okay.
you learn how to present yourself in French, like how to say your name, where you come from. That's it. You cannot go into the core of it. You cannot learn the core grammar. You cannot learn vocabulary. You won't know how to form sentences. How much can you learn in 5 days? It's not possible. The very basic is possible, 1 or 2 sentences or just hi, hello, but not more than that.
Right. So if I give you a hypothetical situation, जिसमें a student comes to you and he tells you that I have been selected for a job in France and in Paris somewhere, and I want to learn French in 3 to 4 months because I want to be fluent in French so that I can talk to people there. Otherwise, how will I work? So उस तरीके की ट्रेनिंग भी होती है wherein you can make them aware of the culture there and the right kind of words. And corporate में तो language भले ही आप English भी बोलो कुछ भी बोलो, you have to have that formal essence to you. तो क्या आपको लगता है कि
Right.
इस टाइप की ट्रेनिंग भी you can help students with?
Yes, so that comes into specialized training or workshops, as I would say. So there are these conversational workshops or grammatical workshops which particularly focus on those skills only. So if you take conversational workshop for instance, in that will only give you situations and ask you to enact or to interact according to it. Okay, so it'll be only interaction and conversation. So it's only specialized workshops for that. That's quite possible. So it's as per the demands of the students, whatever they want. Language is very flexible, so we can always change it. We can always adjust it.
Right. Perfect. Okay, so my next question is something related to us Indians because बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि आजकल की एक कुछ नया सीखना. And in lockdown also we all have developed the skill कि हम एक नई skill develop करते हैं. And especially students going for different MBA programs or whatever field they are interested in, उनको एक नई language सीखने में they feel कि हाँ ये हमारे CV के लिए भी important होगा. So if you go to a corporate interview and you tell them that you are aware of a new language, so ये कितना helpful है उनके CV में? Yes, ma'am.
Well, if you talk about corporate world or MNCs, I'm sure they have clients abroad. Okay, or if
Yeah,
they don't
exactly.
have it at present, they are bound to have clients at a certain point in time. So they require this interpreters or translators at all stages of business where a translator comes in handy to translate the documents or to help with the documents if you don't understand. There's a language barrier, a translator is always there to help
Yes,
out. As
yes.
an interpreter, I myself had worked interned as an interpreter where there was one French client and one Indian client, and I was the
Yeah, right.
mediator who used to translate both the languages. So there are a lot of opportunities in corporate world also, and French, considering the business on a global level, French, there are a lot of companies, French companies like Louis Vuitton, Gucci. This is one. This is particularly in fashion, but of course in finance world, everything. There are a lot of French companies where they do require translators, interpreters. So I think it's a great opportunity for them here as well.
Okay, so that's really nice. And if I ask you, ki, you've been training students and you've also been working with senior citizens as well, adults as well. So what kind of struggles do you face? कि French सीखने में किसी को सबसे ज़्यादा problem कहाँ आ सकती है? सबसे ज़्यादा easy aspect क्या होता है French के लिए? How it is different from English, and how English can help us after like we are done with English. So how it can help us to learn French?
I think the most difficult part of French, in my experience, would be grammar because it's a little bit difficult to get hang of it. I mean, your base should be very clear. There are certain things like verbs or the conjugations. If this is clear, you can, I think, nail the French grammar. But if your basics are not clear, it can get really difficult. And I've seen students struggle really hard with grammar. So I think grammar is the most difficult part. But I think it's quite possible to overcome them if you solve a lot of worksheets and if you learn how to construct the sentences correctly. I think you can get a hang of it.
Right, and you talked about French grammar. So French grammar में क्या होता है? Like I'm really interested कि French grammar किस बारे कैसी होती है और English के जैसे उसमें भी nouns, verbs.
It's similar, yeah. It's quite similar to English. So obviously, when you talk about tenses, present tenses now. So there's past tense, there's future tense. Then there is interrogative forms of sentences. So for example, if I say I like chocolates, do I like chocolates? So it's affirmative sentence being turned into interrogative. I do not like chocolates. This is being turned into negative. So these are different types of sentence constructions, or the tenses, or how I would like something. So this becomes the conditional. So there are different forms of sentence constructions, punctuations, tenses, which come up in the grammar. Yeah.
Right. So if I have to say, the past of something. I had eaten. मैं इसको French में कैसे बोलूँगी?
I had eaten, so that the past passé composé would be j'ai mangé. J'ai mangé. I ate.
J'ai mangé. Okay, nice. I mean, I think इसके बाद तो I would also feel कि सीख ही लें हम French, because it's it gets shorter also at times. जितना हम English में बोलते हैं, it gets shorter also. Yeah, right. So, ma'am, I want to say just one thing that we've been saying for so long कि जिनका हिंदी डायलैक्ट होता है, जो हिंदी में कन्वर्स करते हैं, जो हिंदी एक्सेंट होती है, it's very clear and it's very difficult to grab. तो उनके लिए दूसरी कोई लैंग्वेज लर्न करना it's a bit easy because Indians को ही we have seen that they can understand English very clearly and make other people also understand English. So उनके लिए क्या particularly easy है French language को learn करना because they get that words clear or something like that, or is this a thing of mine? I just want to know this.
I don't think anything like that. It's just a myth. A language, any language, be it French or any other language, it can be learned at any stage, at any age. And even if you're struggling with your native language, or if you have problems speaking English, that's absolutely fine. French is completely a new language on its own. Okay, although when we say that there are a few similarities, but the base of the language is totally different, and when you start learning, you learn it from scratch, right? You start with ABCD, the alphabets, the numbers. So it's absolutely fine. I don't think that's a barrier as such.
Right. So what do we say? One, two, three in French. It's like
The
what are the numbers? What? So it's one. A, do, trois. One, two, and three. A, do, trois.
is one, the
Hmm. Do. Okay, nice. So I think I am finding this game very interesting. So I think enough with the questions. Let's just move to a quick game wherein कुछ words को English को हम French में translate करते हैं. So for our audience, let's get a little basic first, and then we'll move to something tricky. So if I have to say good morning in French, then what will I say?
bonjour. You must have heard this word, bonjour.
Yeah, bonjour. Yeah.
It means hello,
Very good.
and it can also mean good morning. Yeah.
Right. And if I have to say like bon appetit is also French, right? Have a good food.
Have a good
Happy,
meal.
good news.
Yeah.
And happy
must have
journey
heard-
is
Bon voyage, exactly. That's what I was talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
Bon
yeah.
voyage.
right.
So there
That's
are, a lot of,
yeah.
there are a lot of words that French has borrowed from English. In fact, this
Oh,
word
yes.
is termed as borrowed words. Yeah. So if you
Okay.
see the word restaurant is a restaurant in English, but we say the same. We have the same spelling and the same point of similar pronunciation. Le restaurant. So you can figure out there are a lot of borrowed words which are exactly the same. The spelling is exact same. The pronunciation is tad bit different, but you can make out that okay, this is what it means. So they are called les faux amis, okay, or the borrowed words, which are similar, which are you can make out. So there are a lot of such words, which So even if I give you a sentence like le professeur est dans la classe, you can easily make out that professor is professor and class is class. So you can walk your mind and you can say that okay, this is related to the school, this professor, this class. So there are a lot of similar words where you can easily make out the sentence on your own.
Right. Right. I mean, I think this is going to be interesting because हम एक skill-based platform है, and we have this combination of trainer and learner. So I would want to know how do we say learner and how do we say trainer?
Okay. So learner is a student. So the word for student is étudiant.
Étudiant.
Étudiant, correct.
Okay.
And the trainer is entraîneur. Entraîneur.
Entraîneur.
Yes. Enseigneur is also fine. Enseigneur.
Enseigneur. I have to take this first. Enseigneur. Right.
Right.
Okay. So guys, I am sure कि इतने सारे words मैंने आपको बताए. अब इससे आगे जाने के लिए you will have to look out for the course. But before we end with this session, I would like to quickly do this one thing that I was trying to do with ma'am. Let's see if you guys can do it. Let's play a quick tongue twister game. So ma'am, you had this tongue twister in French. So let's try that. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So this
so
is
song,
song,
sha,
sha,
shon,
shon,
sa,
sa,
chanson.
chanson.
It
Son,
means his
sha.
Sorry.
His cat sings this song, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Can you say it out now?
Yeah, let me try. Son, sha. This one is Sean,
Sean,
right?
Sean.
Sean, sa, chanson. So son,
Family.
sha. Yeah, so son, sha, Sean, sa, chanson. Right. I got it. I was not getting it in the first time. So guys, nice. I can learn French and I would love to come to you to help me. Because it's starty, I know this is going to be a huge journey to dive into French. So guys, किसी और को अगर try करना है ये tongue twister, you can give us a request. We'll have you in our video with ma'am and you can try the tongue twister with us. So if anyone interested, I'm going to wait for 2 minutes and let's see if you can give me a request quickly. Send me a request and we'll try the tongue twister together.
Okay, so as I mentioned, the course is classified into 4 parts and we'll be practicing all the 4 skills which are required to learn a language. There'll be reading, listening, speaking, which is interaction, and writing. Okay, wherein I'll give you essays and letters, topics to write, and you will have to write and I'll grade you according to what you have written. So So the course will not only focus just on grammar or just on vocab or just related to the book and just stick to the book and do whatever is given in the book. It's nothing of that sort. It is more um, it is more of a technique where it is 50% from the student and from the teacher as well. Because if we see Indian schools, it is the teacher who's talking half the time and the student is just nodding and whatever the teacher says he'll write. But it is not how it is generally done during my course. The student has to give in a lot as well. He has to talk, he has to submit his essays or whatever it is, whatever I ask him to do, his response is equal to what I teach. So I think it's complete give and take, and it is a lot of interaction based.
Oh, thank you so much, ma'am. I think all our skills rediscovery students and enthusiasts have understood why it is important to learn French. So, since we have come towards the end of this session, I would like to thank you for taking out time and discussing the importance and benefits of French. I think we have covered a lot of things and we've played some amazing games also. I'm so glad you joined us, and anytime, ma'am. And I would love to speak to you again once our viewers are like already the numbers have increased for your course also, and we'll discuss about how it's going. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you. It was a great pleasure talking to you.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sure it's going to be very fruitful. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Same here. So guys, if you have also understood that why it is important to learn a new language, more importantly this language, I would request you guys to go and visit our website. We also have the link of the course for you in our bio, link of the website for you in the bio. Go check out. Find out why it is important for you to learn French for your CV, for your career, for the betterment if you once decide to go to France, or even you have a meeting with someone in France, in Paris. So guys, go out there, find out why do you want to learn French, and yeah, check out the website, check out the course. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll be back with another Instalive next Saturday or Sunday, so stay tuned guys. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day ahead. Bye bye.